Hey folks, welcome back to Coco Rare Coins and Currency. As always, hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. Emergency action alert. Thursday, May 25th. As of the time of this video, the U.S. Treasury Department has announced that in 7 days from now, on June 1st, they will default on U.S. government debt payments for the first time in American history. Let that sink in. The U.S. government is going to default on their obligations for the first time in history. The reason that I'm making this video is so that you can protect yourself, your loved ones, and your friends. Please share this video. I'm going to tell you how you can protect those you love. They've already announced that on June 1st, 7 days from now, the U.S. Treasury will not have the funds to pay our obligations. And as a result, 7 days from now, the U.S. government will default on its debts, the stock market will plummet, interest rates will skyrocket. How can you protect yourself? And if you say this is an alarmist video, they still have 7 days left to get this all worked out, let me share a little bit of information that a lot of people do not realize. Even if right now, tonight, Thursday, May 25th at 8:15 p.m., word comes out of Washington that they've reached an agreement and everything's good to go, we've got a couple of problems. The first problem, Congress needs to vote on the package that has been negotiated with the White House. Well, that's a problem because Congress has already been dismissed for the Memorial Day weekend. Congress is not in Washington, folks. They're back in their districts. Speaker McCarthy gave clear instructions to everybody: don't venture too far away from your nearest airport. We might need you back within 24 to 48 hours notice. So again, even if an immediate agreement was reached, it's going to take 24 to 48 hours for Congress to even get back into Washington. All right, and then here's the really, really important part. Super important. Do not forget this. They have already said that any sort of deal or framework for an agreement is obviously going to have to be put into text, okay? And if you know anything about laws and bills coming out of Washington, they're really thick. I mean, thousands and thousands of pages. So Congress has already told the White House that even if we agree to a deal, it is going to take us 24 to 48 hours to write the text of the agreement. All right? So right off the bat, it's going to take us 1 to 2 days to write the text of the agreement. And then, according to House rules, once that text is released, members of Congress have 72 hours or 3 days to review that bill, that text, before any vote is taken. So, folks, let's do a little bit of math right here. Right now, we're 7 days away from a U.S. default. Members of Congress, they're out of town. They went out for Memorial Day weekend. It's going to take them, it's going to take them a day or two to get back. And then when they do get back, it's going to take them a day or two to put the text together of whatever spending agreement that they get worked out. And then the text of that agreement is going to be open and for public review for 3 days, 72 hours, and then they'll vote on it. So if you do the math, remember, folks, we only have 7 days left until the U.S. government defaults. But if you do the math on that, 1 to 2 days to get everybody back in town, 1 to 2 days to get all the text put together for this bill, and then we're going to sit there for 3 days while they read the bill. Folks, we only got 7 days. You can't get done what they're talking about doing in 7 days. You can't do it. And even if by some miracle you did, that House bill, remember, 1 to 2 days to get back in town, 1 to 2 days to write the legislation, 3 days to review the legislation, then vote on it. That bill then has to go to the Senate for approval. And that's not going to take 10 minutes. It's going to take a day or two as well. Even Charles Schumer, the senator from New York, has said he's going to expedite this the best he can, but there are certain rules he has to follow. Folks, the timeline does not work out. The U.S. government, unfortunately, will absolutely default on its obligations on June 1st. Even if they agreed right now exactly what they're going to do, this stuff takes time. From getting these guys back to Washington, putting the legislation together, voting on it, sending it to the Senate, where they have to vote on it, this stuff takes time. And unfortunately, with only 7 days left, based on the timeline they laid out, that time is simply not there. So, what can you do? Very simple, folks, very simple. When the U.S. government defaults on its obligations, and I'm convinced it's going to happen. I'm convinced it's going to happen based on their own timelines. When the U.S. government defaults on its debts and obligations, a couple of things are going to happen. The stock market is absolutely going to crash. I mean, I can envision, 1986 all over again, Black Friday, where the stock market will drop 20, 30% immediately. I can see that happening. I can see interest rates going to the moon. So, interest rates on, credit cards, mortgages, any sort of debt, absolutely to the moon, 20, 30%. I see, and this is the important part, folks, I see the price of gold and silver drastically increasing. And here's why. When the U.S. government defaults on its obligations to make payments to debt holders, the value of the U.S. dollar is going to collapse. It's going to absolutely collapse. Who in the world is going to buy U.S. bonds when there's a 50-50 chance you might get paid? Nobody is interested in that. The value of the dollar will decrease when that happens. Because gold and silver are traded in U.S. dollars, the price of gold and silver is going to skyrocket. It's not exact correlation. But if the value of the U.S. dollar drops 50%, I feel pretty safe telling you that the value of gold and silver is going to go up about 50%. All right, so gold right now trading just under $2,000 an ounce. Gold is going to immediately skyrocket to $4,000 or $5,000 an ounce immediately. It could hit $10,000 an ounce. Right now, price of silver just under $23 an ounce. It's going to follow gold. Silver could easily hit $100, $200, $300 an ounce. We're in unprecedented territory, folks. Get you a little bit of insurance. Put a little bit of your 401k, put a little bit of your brokerage account into gold and silver. If you don't want to take physical possession, I understand that. You got to deal with the post office and porch pirates stealing your stash. I understand that. There are tons and tons of gold and silver ETFs that you can buy right now in real time to take advantage of the move that we're getting ready to see in gold and silver. So if you're interested in the ETF market, and again, I am not sponsored in any way by any of these folks, but if you're looking for a silver ETF, check out SLV, okay? If you're interested in a gold ETF, check out IAU. These are, publicly traded ETF funds that trade in real time, and they have actual vaults of gold and silver. And if you want to get just a little bit of insurance against the absolute guaranteed default that's going to happen on June 1st, that's where you might want to park a little bit of your money. And if I'm wrong, Worst case scenario, you're not going to lose anything. Next week, you just sell all your holdings. But if I'm right, that could make you 2, 3, 400% return. Just saying, folks. All right, Coco Rare Coins and Currency, checking out. If you got something from the video, if you found it to be informative, please click the like button down below. It really helps me out. All right, folks, good night, and I'll check back in with you a week from today, and we'll see where we stand.